Okay, so this is going to be my review of Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, written by James Luceno. Now, most of you guys know Luceno for doing Tarkin, Darth Plagueis, Rogue One Catalyst, which I am actually reading. I'm reading that right now. I haven't finished yet, but when I do, I'm going to do a review of it. But I wanted to do this first because, yeah, it's James Luceno doing Darth Vader. I could have worded that better. Anyway, so this is an out-of-canon novel. This is part of the Legends now. And in this novel, I'm going to be talking about it, and a few spoilers, but right out the gate, I'm going to tell you, go read it. Go read it. It's James Luceno writing Star Wars again. It's kind of like, the thing is that James Luceno hasn't really written a bad novel in Star Wars. Although Millennium Falcon, I'm told, is a little eh. Like 90% of what James Luceno does is just pure, 90 to 95% of what James Luceno writes in Star Wars is just pure magic. Anyway, so this novel, like I said, is out of canon, but what it is a epilogue, I guess you could say, of Revenge of the Sith. This is actually set a few weeks after the events of Revenge of the Sith, and this is Anakin's, he's no longer Anakin Skywalker, he's of course Darth Vader, and this is Vader Year 1. That's kind of what it is. This is pretty much Darth Vader Year 1. That is the best way to look at this novel. Now, in this novel, like I said, the Empire has just been formed, and in here, Vader is being revealed to the world as Palpatine's new authority. He is this new authority, and he is, you have to understand that when Vader showed up out of nowhere, a lot of people were like, who the fuck's this guy? He just comes, we got an Empire, and now we have this weird, wheezy motherfucker? What the hell's going on here? So, yeah. And also, we do have some surviving Jedi who are on the run, and Vader is hunting them down. Even though Palpatine pretty much said, look, you gotta let this go. I've got an empire that just formed, I need you to be that authority, and, I need you to be, a force of nature. I don't need, the Jedi are pretty much broken. And the ones that are alive, because I know there are several alive, I know Order 66 didn't wipe them all out. And that was the thing, is that Palpatine in here pretty much goes, yeah, I know there are Jedi still alive, like Obi-Wan and Yoda. But, however, the Order is broken. It's not coming back as long as the Empire lives. So let them be us for a while. Let them go hide in the shadows and stay 1,000 years in darkness like we did, like the Sith did for however long, for 1,000 years. Let them know how it feels. So that was kind of Palpatine's thinking, but Vader's like, no, I cannot let this go. So he kind of makes it his mission to look for him. And what I like about it in here is that Luceno really gets into Vader's head. He really gets into Darth Vader's head. Because you have to understand, he hasn't been in the suit very long, and he goes into great detail, excellent detail, about how Vader feels about the suit, and he talks about the mechanics of the suit. Literally, Vader, it's kind of funny because Vader, in here it talks about how Vader, the cybernetic pieces don't really work, and he has to use the Force just to walk. That is how yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here, but yeah, if you guys remember, yeah, Obi-Wan left him pretty much almost quadriplegic. I can't say that word, apparently. He basically almost left him for, chopped off 3 of his limbs. I can't even pronounce that word, I'm sorry. But yeah, quadriplegic, I think that's the best I can do. And yeah, so now Anakin is totally stripped of everything he was, and now, once he was like this, he knows he was like this great swordsman, and only 3 people have ever managed to defeat him, those being Dooku in their first fight, Ventress, and Obi-Wan. Those are the only 3 people who ever beat him, and now he's being forced, he's being slow, he's sluggish, the suit is so loud, the breathing is so loud he can barely get any sleep, he has to eat liquids, and yeah, he's now just relegated to this cybernetic monster, and he's big and slow, and even he has in the opening chapters, he has a fight with a Jedi in here, and the Jedi wounds him, and he's like, God, if I was in my prime, I wouldn't have let that happen. He's being slow, the suit is very slow. Like I said, this isn't the Darth Vader that, could just be this unstoppable tank. He had to be, Anakin really had to work in those early days to make the Vader suit work. It was very much working against him, in those first weeks, which I would imagine it would. I would imagine, relegated from having all this fast pace and all that, and Vader now being relegated and trapped in this suit, yeah. And I do like how in here, when he's having his suit repaired and he's talking to Palpatine, he's like, this happened and this happened and this happened, and Palpatine's just like, so just because you fucked up, you're gonna scatter all your little problems on all these little things that could have helped, instead of realizing you done fucked up. Yeah, that's fair. You're a great apprentice, by the way. Yeah. The action in here is very solid, and on the other end of the spectrum I want to talk about, because I almost forgot, that there are other Jedi in this novel that Vader is hunting, and the main one being Shrine, this Jedi named Shrine, and an apprentice he just ended up getting because her master was killed, Sunstone, Starstone, that's her last name, and the two of them are hooked up with a few other Jedi, and they are on the run from Vader. Along the way, they run into a smuggler who turns out to be Shrine's mother, and I love the story of this kind of duality, that Shrine's like, look, the order's gone, and I just found my mom. Meanwhile, Starstone is, talking about, no, as long as we are alive, we're still Jedi, and you have to hold up to those codes. And I really like how Shrine really goes into this thing of, he is really just split on this whole thing. Starstone is a little annoying at times, because she gets a little too obsessive about finding the other Jedi, but at the same time, she's in total shock. She's in shock that all of this has happened. And I like how in here we see from the Jedi and the galaxy's perspective of this new empire being formed. In fact, we get to see like Bail Organa and the other rebels, what would be the Rebel Alliance, trying to understand what has become of the Senate, what has become of the Republic, and now that it's an empire, where do they stand? Who is this Darth Vader? Where are these TIE fighters coming from? Again, it's the opening week, so they're still using Clone War era tech. It's not like opening a few days, we're going to be like, oh, that's a new Star Destroyer, that's a TIE fighter, that's a TIE Advanced, all of that. It's in talks, but again, if you've read the in-canon Ahsoka novel in the new Disney canon, then, opening year, they already had Star Destroyers and Clone Troopers, which is kind of weird because in Tarkin, which is also in canon, they were still using some Clone War tech. I don't know. Anyway, so, this is I really like the Jedi, especially Shrine, and his kind of conflict of, like, now that the Order's gone, what do the Jedi stand for, and, where does this leave me? I really love that kind of story with him. And again, this is a great way to showcase Vader and his rise to becoming the Dark Lord that you know and fear from the original trilogy. So that's what I really like about this novel, especially, when you see Vader, it's not like a great, oh, Anakin's now Darth Vader, he's an automatic badass. No, he had to learn to be a badass over again, and I really like that. So yeah, this is a really great novel. If you haven't read it, I'd suggest checking it out. If you're a James Luceno fan, absolutely. If you're a Darth Vader fan and you want to see where Vader got his start in the previous canon, keep in mind that's the previous canon, again, this is no longer in canon, but if you want to see, like, where the rise of badass Vader, check out this novel, because it's a great story for Anakin and his final transition into becoming Darth Vader. So yeah, if you guys have read the novel, just comment below, let me know. I really enjoyed this novel, and I highly recommend it. Again, if you've loved James Luceno's work so far, I'd highly recommend it. But if you guys have read it, just comment below, let me know. And once again, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.